G'day, Alex here from Tactical Arbitrage, and this is going to be a really fun video because we're going to do an overall analysis of the kinds of products that are being presented to me here and look for some profit potential amongst them. Now, I've done a little bit of a cheat and I've actually set my product search to say that there is a 15% sale on at target right now. Now, normally, of course, we would be looking for store-wide discounts or coupons to add, as mentioned in the product search series of videos. And then, of course, you would stack cashback sites and, if possible, gift card granny type sites or raise card sites, discount card sites anyway. And all of those things combine to give you a discounted amount to your price to give you an adjusted price, which we then go on to calculate your return on investment from. Now, for want of not having done any of those kinds of searches, and for this example, I've just entered an arbitrary figure of 15% on this search. Whether or not you can actually obtain 15% discount comes down to your own personal research and analysis of current cashback deals and cards, etc., to see whether or not that kind of discount is available. But for the sake of this search, I've just put an arbitrary figure of 15% in there. And as you can see, the price has been adjusted accordingly on each column, and therefore adjusting my return on investment. So a little bit of cheating there, but now we can get stuck into this analysis. So from left to right, I can have a look at, say, the quantity column here. And the first one I can see has been adjusted by another member to a quantity of 2. And it says here that Amazon actually does have a pack of 2, so this quantity is all correct. And moving across to the right, I can have a look at the other columns. I can see that this is a UPC site, and that it is a perfect universal product code match with Amazon. It's actually indicated here by the words Amazon match, and it's also marked here in green to indicate that it is in fact an Amazon match. So far we can see that this product does appear to be a match. What else? What other indicators do we have? Okay, we've got the image, and by mousing over the image we can actually see the item. Now, one reason why I may decide to avoid this product is this one is a mystery box. So there is a possibility that the purchaser of this particular product may be expecting, say, for example, this main image here, which is the robot. And because this is mystery figures, and they may not get this robot, there is room for complaint, or there is room for a negative review that you would then have to go and fight with Amazon. Normally, if I kind of see that potential for difficulty, unless the profit is substantial, I'll step around that item. Now, up in the top here, you can see that I'm continually adding products. Now, I'm going to go and stop my product search right now, because we've got more than enough there. But just if you're wondering why there's so many items there, it's because I set my filters very loosely. In fact, I allowed all ranks to come through, and I said just show me stuff over 1% profit. So I'm getting quite a bit of stuff through there. But I'm on this page now, and I'm going to filter it accordingly. Now, normally when you're doing your search, you'd follow the instructions from the product search series of videos, and you may have added some rank filters, etc. But in this example, I'm just letting a bunch of stuff come to the view data page so I can check it out accordingly. Now, as I go along these columns, I see some more little points of interest. I can see the gross profit that I can expect out of this item, which is a couple of dollars, which is 37%. I can see there's 36 people currently selling it. I can see that Amazon has neglected to include the weight and size of this item in their databases, and so therefore the Amazon return after fees is actually marked red, because we don't have a really accurate fee for this, because Amazon is missing this data. So that's also interesting for me and a bit of a red flag. In fact, I often use on the product search page the filter remove if Amazon contains no weight or size data, because I like accuracy, and if I am starting to see these red items, I know that it's going to be somewhat close, especially with the United States, where we've actually injected in a 1 pound weight box as an arbitrary sort of a box to calculate fees. But often it's not going to be close enough unless I see significant profit in it, in which case I think, well, you know, even if this is off by a little bit, there's still going to be money to be made. And in that case, I'll have a look at the product. But going along, we can also see that the sales rank is currently 18,922. Now, normally that would be an exciting sales rank, but it's a little bit adjusted by the fact that the average rank over the course of 30 days is only 73,930. Now, recently we've also added the estimated monthly, the estimated monthly sales, which shows me that it's going to sell about 60 units per month overall at this rank of 73,000. Now, over the course of 90 days, I can see that the rank's more like 100,000 or 90,000. Now, we also have the keeper graph here. There's a couple of ways you can look at the keeper graph. You can either leave this column switched off so you see more rows, because as you can see, the keeper graph is quite deep on the page. Or you can just mouse over the keeper symbol here under Amazon title and you'll see the same graph. So I've got a nice big screen, so I actually do like to leave the keeper graph open. Now, while I'm playing around in here, I might see that there's a couple of things on here I'm not too worried about. So my brand exclusions are already in place from previous searches. I don't really need to see that brand right now for myself. So I'm going to hide a few columns. I've got my filters open and I'm going to hide the brand column with the little eyeball there. I'm going to hide a couple more things as well. I'm going to hide the price because I'm only really interested in the adjusted price. Whoops. Sorry, that's that one. I'm going to hide the UPC. Now, why am I hiding the UPC? Because we have two columns of it here, and we actually do have a sneaky little indicator here with the UPC being green here. So when I see a green UPC, I know it's going to be a match. So I'm going to hide the UPC from the source. And if I wanted to go into this a bit further, I might remove a few other things here. It can be kind of handy to have the 90-day rank open, the 30-day rank. But I'm going to remove the actual sales rank because I prefer these average ranks. I'll just leave the 30-day rank open for now. Especially now that at the time of this video being made, we're getting closer to Christmas. So crunch time is actually, it's a little more compacted than throughout the year, where the 90-day over the course of middle of the year may be more interesting to me. But as I get closer to these changes that are happening almost daily as sales pick up for Christmas, I'm mostly interested in the 30-day average rank. So I'll leave that one open right now. Now, there is an indicator there that tells me when Amazon return after fees is not there. If they don't, sorry, if the weight and product size is not there, that little red price instead of the green prices. So I'm going to also close the weight and I'll leave product size open because I am interested in when something is oversized or not. And that's kind of enough for me for now. There's a few other little things I can do here. Like at the moment I have these keeper graphs set for 30-day sliding scale. I can mess around with those and make them 90 days, etc. But I'm going to just leave it at 31 days. I'm going to leave, beg your pardon. I'm going to leave the marketplace and sales rank switched on there. A little further along, we have the last time this particular column was updated. We've got the rating and the reviews. Now, reviews are important to me. Well, more to the point, rating is important to me. I don't really want to deal with a product which has got really low ratings. In fact, I'd probably go as far as saying that if it has less than, say, 3.5 stars, then there is a chance that I'm going to get some bad feedback just on the fact that the product is bad. Nothing to do with the fact that I've provided the item to them through fulfillment by Amazon and it's all been done in a timely manner. Sometimes a negative review will come at you even though you are not the manufacturer of the product, simply because the product is so bad. I'm not gonna filter this too hard, but I'm going to say if it's less than 3, then let's remove those. Now, that's going to remove quite a lot of products actually. We now only have 876 entries that we are having a look at. Now let's drill this down a bit more, and you can see that 876 was adjusted over here, and I can also see that it's adjusted here, showing 1 to 100 of 876 entries. Now you may decide that you're willing to keep those, but I'm trying to drill down to find some good products here, and I want to be a little bit more brutal than usual, just to find some particularly good ones. Now, I am playing in a very commonly played in playground. I'm playing in target.com, so the chances of me finding something that isn't already being looked at by another member is a little unlikely compared to any of the other 600 stores that you can search for on Tactical Arbitrage. So don't do what Alex does and just hang around target.com toys. This is purely for example purposes only. You will certainly still find some gold in here. I mean, somebody's got to get the Target toys and sell them for profit. So I'm not saying completely avoid it. Just be aware when you're finding profitable items here that you may want to make sure that there's a little bit more of a buffer in the profit to allow for the fact that you may not be the only one discovering this item. You'll certainly experience this issue a lot less when you're looking at other sites. Now, if we go into this a little bit more, let's have a look at only products that are currently in stock. Actually, before I do that, I wouldn't mind removing the hidden rows there. Let's get rid of those ones from before. And we'll scroll down a little more here, and let's have a look at some other sort of filterings that we can do here. Let's filter out anything with a gross return on investment of under 15%. Let's apply that. Okay, so what are we looking at now? 749 entries. That's quite a lot of entries. Let's have a look at items that only have an Amazon buy box of at least $15. Apply that. Alright, and we're going to drill that down to 680 entries. Look at that a little more. We're going to have a look at only items with a gross profit of over $4 an item. And we're really starting to break that down. Now we're still looking at 535 items. That's quite a lot that have actually managed to filter through here. We might be having an issue with items that are in stock versus out of stock. Now, when I'm talking about in stock and out of stock items, there may be a good reason for you to actually still keep a lot of the items that are out of stock, simply because they're going to come back into stock at some point. And not only that, but Tactical Arbitrage has a feature which will alert you when an item becomes back into stock. You simply save those items which are marked as not in stock now in a saved folder that you're looking to track. Excuse me. In a long video like this, you may experience a couple of coughs. If you put a few of these items into a saved folder and track those to alert you when these items come back into stock, then these ones that are currently saying in stock no right now, that you may not be able to find anything decent, any decent value in as of today, you can certainly get an alert for at a time that there is value. So I'm not really too keen on permanently deleting these items that are saying no. So I'm going to actually just delete what's hidden now, and then I'm going to hide these items just to have a look. So use filter, and we're going to only show items that are in stock and apply that. Okay, we're down to 319 items now. And so this is kind of cool. We're starting to see a lot of profitable items. Now, this does have something to do with the fact that I have set a 15% discount on everything at Target, and I did this. I did this myself, as I mentioned before, just to sort of prove an example that with a few tweaks to those prices, and this is the filter I'm talking about here, the source price adjustments or source price reductions. By finding some data to put in there before you initiate your search, you are much more likely to find profitable items start rising to the top. And now let's have a look at how many people are selling some of these items. So we have 3 sellers on this one. We have 7 sellers on this one. We have 1 seller on this one. We have 8 sellers on this one. These are not significant numbers of sellers. So let's have a look a little further. Let's pick one of these items to find out truly what kind of return on investment that I am looking at. So this one's only selling a couple of times a month. And in fact, the estimated monthly sales say under 3 sales per month. There's only 8 sellers, but the return on investment's 31%, and there's $7.94 in the item. So in this case, I may consider this item if I was going to do what's called go wide instead of go deep. Now, going wide means you'll buy a large range of items and only buy a couple of each. And this is particularly good strategy for newbies who don't want to bet the entire farm all on one item. Now, going deep is something that you may decide to do if the rank is very good and the turnover of the item is very high, and you know that even with other sellers on the listing, that item is going to flip, and multiple items of that are going to flip at a reasonable enough rate for you to consider going deep on that item. So let's have a look if we want to go wide on this guy here. I'm going to open up this particular product. He is $29.99. Now, after our 15% discount, he's $25.49. Now, over at Amazon, he's $44.49 and $33.43 after fees. Now, another thing that I didn't do here, which is probably giving me a few more products on this page than I should really be getting, is I didn't put in there in my costs, my cost to prep per standard product and my cost per pound to ship to Amazon. Now, had I put in my cost to prep and my cost to ship to Amazon, I would have graded away a few more dollars or a couple more dollars out of this item. Not that it's a particularly heavy item, but let's say easily $1 or $2 off this, and then it may not be such an attractive item to invest my money in compared to some of the other items on this page. So let's assume that I've gotten this far and I am interested in this item. One more thing I might like to do is check when this item was most recently updated, which was actually on the November the 15th. Right now it actually is November the 15th, so I would expect this item to be at the same price, and I can find that out for sure by clicking the little update button, get updated data for just this row. Now what that's going to do is it's going to update the buy price at Target, it's going to update the Amazon price and the return after fees. It'll also update a few other things such as rank, number of sellers, etc. And nothing really changed. This item still has a gross profit of $7.94. It's in stock. It does sell. It doesn't sell often, but it does periodically sell. And right on the cusp of Christmas, I would assume a few more of these are going to sell. So this is the kind of thing I might add a couple to my cart, and I can sort of mentally allocate to myself, there's $15 right there. Now I've really picked a completely random item on this page as I was scrolling down. Each one of these deserves its own analysis. Directly above it we've got the Wild Samoans Figure WWE Elite Collection, and I will see that it is also not a huge seller. This would also be a go wide, not deep. I can see that it sells for $38.99 over at Amazon. Now that's an MF seller. See, this column here, the seller type, is particularly handy. Being a merchant fulfilled item, Amazon tends to favor the FBA seller. So even if fulfillment by Amazon seller is priced about $1.50 or $2 higher than merchant fulfilled, you'll tend to see that fulfillment by Amazon seller rotate into the buy box more often. So when I see this particular instance where this $38.99 guy who's a merchant fulfilled seller has the buy box, I get a little excited because it's not $6.58 profit that I'm considering anymore. I'm thinking $8.50 profit is more where I'm kind of focused. Now it's really hard to do this analysis without touching on the Tactical Edge microscope here. Now there is Tactical Edge videos coming up in the very next section directly after this, but I want to let you know what happens when we click this. Tactical Edge is going to show me, a list of all the current sellers, their current buy box prices, who currently holds the buy box, how many items, where we can get this information, how many items they currently still have left in stock to sell, and also, of course, details on this page such as estimated monthly sales are there, and I'll go into that soon, but certainly when making a buying decision, I would be amiss to mention that last step of going into the Tactical Edge to really not only decide whether or not you can sell this, but also help you set your pricing. So, this average rank is 519,000. We have got that down there as under 3 sales per month. Let's go up to try and find something that sells quite a bit more. This Superman guy here. So this is kind of interesting. There's $5 profit in it according to this, and 35% return on investment. Now to me this is going to be quite attractive for somebody, so I'm going to be interested to see if this is actually still in stock. It says it's in stock here, but we are using a feature called cache. Now cache means that we are also accepting somebody else's most recent data. Now that might mean that the data that we're presented with could be as much as up to 5 days old, depending on how often the site is searched. Now, as it happens with Target Toys, it's searched so often that the data is never normally that old. It says it's in stock, but there's 2 ways I can find out if it is in stock. One is I can simply click straight through to the page and see for myself whether I've got the Add to Cart button there, which I do. And the other option is I can again use the Update Data function over on the left. Now, if you've already done your filtering and you want to simply update everything on the page, you can go up there and use the update data, or you can select a few and update just those if you wanted to get that information there. So lots of things to look at when considering buying products. I'm actually surprised to see that there's profitable items right in the most frequented place that I would expect people to be looking for profitable items. Now, of course, there is again that 15% that I dropped in there, but I'm certain that if you look around, you can find some percentage off gift cards from a place like Raise.com, and you'll probably find some cashback sites that currently do have cashback opportunities over at Target. And of course, to stack upon that as well, Target also often does have discounts for certain categories and for certain times of the year. They even have a global percentage off most of Target. I saw that around the time of Black Friday last year, where they had, I think it was 15% off store-wide. So at that point, there's arbitrage opportunities galore. So I could continue going through these one by one. This truly is treasure hunting. It really is a fun aspect of this entire business. And it's kind of where the adrenaline kicks in when you're starting to see items, particularly items that have got, like this one here. See, this is interesting to me. It's got a $14.10 gross profit. So what's wrong with it? Why isn't everybody on it? Why is there only 7 sellers? And that's when you'll need to drill in a little further. You might want to use, and I certainly would recommend that you use the Amazon button here. What this will do, this will open the product in your Seller Central account and let you know whether there's any restrictions on you selling this item. There's nothing worse than finding that perfect item than going and finding that it is restricted for you. Now, for various reasons to do with the Amazon API, we can't actually inject a column onto the page which actually says restricted for you or not restricted for you. But case by case. You know, it's not as common as you think. It really depends on the brand and sometimes the specific ASIN, whether it's restricted for you. But be sure to do your due diligence and also check that with the little Amazon icon there to see whether or not that item is restricted for you. So in this case here we have a Playmobil item, $26.77, sells on Amazon for $60.87 with return after fees of $40.87. That's $14 profit. Only 7 people selling it. I don't have my Amazon account open in a way that I can actually click this. I would be interested in seeing whether that's a restricted item, and if not, I'd certainly be looking at adding a couple of those to my Fulfillment by Amazon account too. Now you can always open both Amazon and the source price page at once with a single click with the little pitchfork icon there. And of course there's more filtering you can do at the top of the page to really drill down on these items that are interesting to you. And you can of course also sort by return on investment on the at the top with the column sort button, and sort of start seeing those items with the higher return on investments or the lower return on investments depending on what you select here. Now once in a while you'll see something that's a crazy return on investment and you're wise to doubt that. It could be a mismatch item. Now in this case I can see that there's no universal product code there. It looks to me like there is possibility of some mismatches happening, and the first one actually is a mismatch. Now we traditionally have a mismatch button here, but that part of the software is evolving right now. But I'd certainly want to have a look at these higher return on investment items too, particularly the ones that look like a perfect match, just to see who's on them, how many people are on them, make sure that there's no restrictions, and if there is profit and the item's in stock, then maybe jumping on in there and adding some of those to my store too. So that's all I'm going to do with this analysis. It's fun. I could play around in these pages all day long, and I certainly hope to do some more webinars just simply on sourcing in the near future. Again, don't just live in Target. Get out there, see what discount codes are available at which sites, see where the gift cards are, where the cashbacks are, apply those to your search, do your filtering on page here as well, and start making that money. Alright, that's all there is to this series of videos on the View Data page. In the next series of videos, which you'll find when you go to Analysis, Tactical Edge, and Analysis Product Variations, we'll have some videos on those two analysis features. And I particularly enjoy the Tactical Edge feature, and I think it's a very important part of sourcing, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that too. Thanks, I'm Alex, and I'll see you in the next series.